Welcome to our channel. Enjoy the video.
On the morning of February 25, 1957, a young college student was driving along a quiet road in the Fox Chase neighborhood of Philadelphia. Hoping to avoid a parking ticket, he noticed something unusual lying in the brush just off the roadside. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than a discarded cardboard box. He kept driving, convincing himself it was none of his business. But something about that box stayed with him. The next day, curiosity won. He returned to the same spot and stepped into the overgrown area. As he moved closer, he realized the box wasn't filled with trash. Inside was the body of a young boy, estimated to be between 4 and 6 years old. In an instant, what had seemed like an ordinary roadside dumping ground became one of America's most haunting crime scenes. Police arrived within minutes, sealing off the area and searching every inch of the surrounding woods. The boy had been carefully placed inside a cardboard box that had once held a baby bassinet. He was small for his age, severely underweight, and showed signs of recent grooming. His hair had been freshly cut, and his fingernails were neatly trimmed. These details puzzled investigators. Someone had cared enough to clean him, yet someone had also abandoned him without a name. As detectives examined the body, even more disturbing details emerged. The child had suffered multiple injuries before his death, but determining exactly what had happened proved difficult. There were scars on his body, bruises that suggested abuse, and signs that someone had attempted to conceal his identity. His clothing was missing, and every obvious clue that could identify him seemed to have vanished. News of the discovery spread rapidly across Philadelphia. Newspapers published heartbreaking sketches of the little boy, pleading with the public to help identify him. Thousands of people came forward with tips. Families searched old photographs. Parents looked at the drawings with growing dread, wondering if the child could somehow be connected to them. Yet every promising lead ended in disappointment. Investigators couldn't understand one simple fact. How could a young child disappear without anyone reporting him missing? It was as if he had never existed. The mystery wasn't only about who had killed him. The greater mystery was why no one seemed to know who he was. As the investigation gathered national attention, detectives uncovered one tiny piece of evidence that suggested the truth had been hidden deliberately. It was a clue so unusual that many believed it could finally reveal the boy's identity. Instead, it would deepen the mystery and keep America searching for decades. The discovery of the unknown boy shook Philadelphia, but as days turned into weeks, investigators faced an unsettling reality. No family had come forward to claim him. There was no missing person report that matched his description. It was as if the child had appeared from nowhere, and disappeared from everyone's memory at the same time. Determined not to let the case fade, police launched one of the largest identification efforts the city had ever seen. Thousands of flyers bearing the boy's face were distributed across the United States. His fingerprints were compared with countless records. Schools, hospitals, orphanages, and children's homes were contacted. Detectives followed every lead, no matter how unlikely. Each new tip carried hope, but one after another, they ended in disappointment. The public became deeply invested in the mystery. Newspaper headlines called him simply, "the boy in the box." His heartbreaking story spread far beyond Pennsylvania, and people who had never met him felt a strange connection to the child with no name. Amateur investigators, journalists, and ordinary citizens all believed they might hold the missing piece of the puzzle. Among the many leads, a few stood out. Witnesses reported seeing a young boy resembling the victim in different parts of the city. Others claimed they knew families hiding dark secrets. Detectives investigated each account carefully, but none could be confirmed with enough evidence. Over time, the trail grew colder, and the mystery only became more frustrating. Years passed, yet investigators refused to give up. Advances in forensic science allowed experts to create new facial reconstructions, hoping someone would finally recognize the boy. His likeness appeared on television, in newspapers, and later across the internet. Each reconstruction brought renewed attention to the case, but still, no verified identification emerged. Then came one of the most controversial moments in the investigation. A woman, known publicly only as M, claimed the boy had been abused and killed by her adoptive parents. Her account contained details that seemed to match evidence from the crime scene, leading some investigators to consider her story seriously. But there was little independent evidence to verify her claims, and many detectives questioned her credibility. To this day, her account remains a theory, not established fact. Decades after the boy's body was discovered, investigators were still asking the same heartbreaking question: who was this child? Every failed lead seemed to push the truth further away. Yet while traditional detective work had reached its limits, science was entering a new era. A revolutionary tool was about to transform cold case investigations around the world. It had solved mysteries once thought impossible, identified victims who had been nameless for generations, and exposed killers who believed they had escaped forever. For the boy in the box, it offered one final chance. For more than 6 decades, the boy in the box remained one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. Detectives retired. Witnesses passed away. Evidence grew older with every passing year. Many believed the child's true identity would never be discovered. But while time had slowed the investigation, science had not. By the early 2020s, forensic genealogy had transformed criminal investigations. DNA could now reveal family connections that had once been impossible to detect, giving investigators a new way to identify unknown victims, even when no one had reported them missing. The Philadelphia Police Department reopened the case with renewed determination. Specialists carefully extracted DNA from preserved evidence and worked alongside forensic genealogists to build an extensive family tree. It was painstaking work, requiring months of research, verification, and the elimination of countless possibilities. Each discovery brought investigators one step closer to the truth. Then, in December 2022, the breakthrough finally arrived. After 65 years, the child was identified as Joseph Augustus Zarelli. For the first time since his body had been found in that cardboard box, the little boy had his name back. A mystery that had haunted generations was finally beginning to unravel. The announcement made headlines around the world. Investigators explained that modern DNA technology had succeeded where decades of traditional detective work had failed. They also revealed that, because the homicide investigation was still active, many details about Joseph's family and circumstances would remain confidential. Protecting the integrity of the case was now more important than ever. Joseph's identification answered the question that had defined the case for generations, but it did not explain how he died or who was responsible. In many ways, the investigation had reached a new beginning rather than an ending. Detectives could now reconstruct parts of his life, trace family connections, and revisit old evidence through an entirely different lens. The public celebrated the long-awaited identification, yet the sense of relief was mixed with frustration. Knowing the boy's name did not deliver justice. The person, or people, responsible for his death had never been charged. Somewhere in the past, someone knew exactly what had happened, and that truth remained hidden. With Joseph's identity finally restored, investigators turned their attention to the most difficult question of all. The evidence had survived. The science had advanced. But would it ever be enough to identify the killer? Today, the boy in the box is no longer an unknown child. His name is Joseph Augustus Zarelli, and after 65 years, he has finally been recognized as a real person with a real identity. But the most important question remains unanswered: who took his life, and why? Investigators have continued to examine every piece of evidence collected in 1957. With Joseph's identity established, detectives have been able to revisit old records, interview surviving relatives, and compare decades-old information with modern forensic techniques. However, identifying a victim is not the same as proving who committed the crime. The evidence must still meet the legal standard required to bring charges. Over the years, many theories have circulated. Some believe Joseph died at the hands of a family member. Others suggested he may have been cared for outside his immediate family before his death. Another theory gained attention after a woman known publicly as M described an account she believed connected her family to the case. While parts of her story appeared consistent with certain known facts, investigators have never confirmed it, and no theory has been accepted as the official explanation. What investigators do know is based on evidence, not speculation. Joseph died a violent death. His body was deliberately abandoned in a cardboard bassinet box near Susquehanna Road in Philadelphia. Whoever left him there almost certainly intended to conceal both his identity and the circumstances of his death. Those facts have remained unchanged since the first officers arrived at the scene in 1957. Even after Joseph's name was announced in 2022, the Philadelphia Police Department made it clear that the homicide investigation remains active. Detectives have urged anyone with credible information to come forward, no matter how insignificant it may seem. A forgotten conversation, an old family story, or a detail dismissed decades ago could still become the missing piece of the puzzle. Cases like this remind us that justice does not always move quickly. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes generations. Advances in DNA technology have already accomplished what once seemed impossible by giving Joseph his identity back. Investigators hope those same advances may one day identify the person responsible for ending his life. Perhaps somewhere, hidden in an old photograph, a forgotten document, or a fading memory, lies the final clue. Until that day comes, the murder of Joseph Augustus Zarelli remains officially unsolved, but no longer forgotten. His story is more than a true crime mystery. It is a reminder that every victim deserves a name, every family deserves answers, and every unsolved case deserves another chance. More than 60 years after a small cardboard box was discovered beside a quiet road, the search for justice continues, and this time, investigators know exactly who they are fighting for.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss our next video. See you in the next one.